Hi, I'm Jackson Rogers, and I'm training to be a history teacher. This past semester at JMU, I've had the wonderful opportunity to learn about disciplinary literacy, and I want to tell you guys all about it. Over the past semester, we spoke a lot about language, about the tools of literacy and how literacy is used at home versus in the school setting. We talked about the different literacies that have to do with being an online citizen versus being just a citizen of this world. And I think it's safe to say that literacy is a very central piece of any educator's curriculum, or at least it should be. And because of that, I'd like to tackle the question, what is the role of literacy in young people's lives? A few roles of literacy in young people's lives are group membership, connections or fighting prejudices, as well as owning one's education. The first role of literacy in young people's lives is group membership. Group membership goes back to the idea of discourse community. A discourse community bases its membership off of specialized communication, meaning there has to be a literacy of the vocabulary, the ideas and ideals of the group in each member. Each student is a member of many different groups. Video game communities, music, sports team, a friend group that likes manga or anime. These are all discourse community. This group membership is an important piece of what literacy does in a young person's life. As teachers, we have the ability to participate in many groups ourselves. Because I want to be a history teacher, I'm already part of the discourse community of social studies. As a teacher, I hope to include students in on that discourse community. Group membership needs to be supported and fostered and facilitated. Students aren't going to gain literacy all on their own, and many of them will not show up to class day one having the sort of literacy they need to form a group within your class or within the discourse and in the content. So it's my job to do everything that I can to help students along on that journey of becoming part of the discourse community of education. Another key role that literacy plays in a young person's life is the role of connection. This is also the role of fighting prejudice. We talked a lot about and read a lot about linguistic diversity throughout this entire course. Readings from Zweyer, Zygris Coe, Santa Anna, Anzaldúa, I think is how you say the name, and many others. We're talking about not only English language learners who come from a background where English is not their first language, but also about different dialects of English, where in the home, students aren't speaking proper or academic English. This whole part of the class was very fascinating for me and also humbling to find out that there has been an official position of discrimination against any other language in our school system for hundreds of years. That was an eye-opener for me. That's something that really hits home. Students that are coming from a different language background have it hard enough without the added stress of a teacher that is going to fail them on the basis of not having come to a place of proficiency in their English language literacy. That also goes for the way that Ebonics is treated in schools. Though we are to teach students terminology and literacy of our content and disciplinary areas, it is completely out of line to tell students that because of a language they speak or the way they speak at home, they are disqualified from the learning process or the group formation. That's just not right. That's something that I'm really taking away from this course. I'm not going to fail students just because their first language was not academic English or their home language isn't academic English. We also talked a lot about throughout the course how we should respect a student's first language or their home dialect of English. Once we've shown that student that we respect them and we're not going to judge them for the way that they speak, and that there's no hidden or invisible criteria for success in our classes, at that point, we can work through mutual respect to help students understand academic English is attainable and that it's a tool that they can have in their chest. In this case, literacy works as a bridge to connect a community of people that have been completely dissuaded from education in this country. I am going to work very hard to make certain my students that have a hard time reading, that have a hard time working with texts and with the English language in general, I'm going to work very hard to make certain that they have just as much a chance as any other student. Literacy is a connector. It can heal wounds that our society has caused against immigration in the name of assimilation, a program that should have never been started in the first place. It's my turn as a teacher to empower students through literacy to become part of a group, a member of a community they never thought they could be a part of because society said they couldn't. One final way that I've come to think about literacy from this course and the way that it affects the lives of young people is the way literacy can make a student own their education. The better the ability to read and write and communicate effectively within a discipline that a young person is, the more that they'll buy in to their own learning experience. The skill that you impart to your student when you allow them the opportunity to be part of a discourse community and give them the opportunity to grow in their literacy, the better off everyone will be, because that student is now excited about the learning process, is confident about the learning process, is learning how to grow past what they could have even done in your class. And all of that might sound very hopeful, and you know, I hope it does, because I am hopeful. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to affect students to have them become engaged citizens, members of a discourse community, and really own the education that they're becoming literate in. I think that academic literacy is so cool and has such a multifaceted role that it plays in the lives of young people that there's no way that I could list them all in one video. Though this video is coming to an end, and I will be picking it up with answering some other questions that I've been wrestling with throughout the entirety of this course. So stay tuned for another video.